Hopefully everybody enjoys this video. If you could do me a little favor and hit that like button and subscribe, that would be great. Hopefully y'all enjoy. Thank you. What we got kicking today's projects on the agenda, which we now have Mini-Me MX125 12 volter and MX350 24 volt. And the big one we actually paid about 20 bucks less because it was on clearance than the small one. But I found an MX350 in the garbage, and we are going to, as you can see, Ultra batteries. We're gonna hook this sucker up. So I got these tiny BMW 480 amp, 420 cold cranking amp, 12 volt batteries that will wire in series for 24 volt. And yeah, the garage is always a mess. I'm on small engine week. I gotta finish up throttle cable on the 110, and the neighbor's Polaris starter is grinding and won't disengage, so I gotta pull the side case off that. But this should be pretty freaking sweet. But I was gonna tearing it down. I pulled this set of batteries out of it. It's got these two little 12 volt batteries wired for 24, but they're 3 years old. They're never properly maintained or taken care of, so they're dead as a doornail. And basically the size of that carrying case with the two is the size of one of these batteries. So I'm gonna stretch and change this frame a little bit because I'm gonna get both of them in there in a way that's decent and make it so I can, basically it'll be kind of part of the chassis. Well, you don't know until you try. So we're gonna see how she turns out. Hopefully it lasts, you know, over an hour and does at least, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna do 15 miles an hour, but what would be cool is if I could get a solid 18 or 20 out of her, and we can achieve that with gearing, so we'll see. And some little neat things I was gonna show is, I mean, these are cool bikes, but they're cheap. They're expensive, but they're cheap. So they have pretty much an on-off kind of throttle. It's not progressive, like it doesn't have a speed control. So you're literally off or wide open, and you just basically tap it to ride it without just being wide open all the time. This actually has it might have been a Razor, I'm not sure, but this has got a progressive throttle on it with action. So what I'm going to do here first is magically already got the bolts out of the plastics, the bodywork, and you see what we kind of got going here. We're going to make that battery pack fit in there. Well, I'm going to call it a battery pack, but I'm probably going to cut this bar out, see how much distance I can get, kind of see how much wheel clearance we need. But I'm going to end up building a little bit different chassis, kicking this plate out, and instead of this single bar, when I get the batteries in and know where they're at, I'll probably have like a twin bar on each side, which will be stronger. But we're going to try to keep the weight down. I'm hoping here pretty quickly to be able to test this thing. All right, let's take a second here. And I know it's what I'd be thinking. So some of you got to be thinking, what the hell is that? You took a garbage picked, found free electric dirt bike that was broken and got thrown out for what reason? But that it was broken, and broke it more. It looks like I broke it even more. It looks like a complete pile of scrap. But I know some of you, just some of you, can see the vision. My brother didn't. He goes, Jake, those batteries, it looks like you're gonna have to cut that thing into little pieces. It may look like that right now, but all I've done so far is cut an inch out of this frame. I had to jack this up an inch, and then jack that up an inch, and weld a piece in. And you know, it does look better from the bottom, I think. Somewhere in there. When we get some paint on it, it'll look sweet. And now we're going to cut it here, and we're gonna cut it somewhere here. You can see there's not a lot of measuring with me. So I just kind of, I think this and I think that, and let's cut, whack, and weld, and you know, they come out and become competitive, fast machines. So I have to, and I'm doing this in sections so I don't screw up the complete squareness of the chassis. I mean, somebody that's probably better at this than me probably would have just been able to hack it here, here, and here and put all their extensions on. I'm doing a little bit at a time and kind of figuring it out as we go. It is a 24 volt motor. I have a pile of them, so if something's wrong with this one or I burn it up, I do have a backup. The only thing I could hurt, I'm thinking, from these batteries is the amps, because we'll be the same voltage, but I don't know if we're gonna kill it in the, you know, that electrical bullshit I don't know anything about. So I have taken a chunk out of here and pie cut it so I don't have to add metal. It's easier to subtract and weld it than to have to put a piece in. And this kind of dawned on me while I was building this free electric dirt bike is I have very, very custom tools. I mean, only the top of the line, the best of the best. A truck that I was scrapping that I also got for free. I pulled the jack out of it, and not a big fan of them for lifting cars, but man, for manipulating metal and moving things, this thing's awesome. It's a little scissor jack out of a 1500 Silverado, but what's nice is hydraulic. If you take a jack and flip that on its side, it'll lose its prime and won't pump. So you either got to have a Porta Power, which at Harbor Freight's only like 160 bucks. And I don't know, I bought mine 5 years ago, so it might be 1,060 bucks now. This is mechanical, and it works great. So, wanted to share that. I got to get 14 inches roughly between the motor and the neck bone for the batteries. And I probably could go get 2 tractor batteries and have simplified this a little more, but the capacity that we're going to be able to get out of these, or you know, the drive time should be huge. So I'm kind of excited to see. Or this is a giant waste of time like some projects, and I'll be able to bitch about it later and tell everybody not to do that if they ever think about it or I hear them talking about it. All right, we're getting somewhere. Or I was going to start with what we've got here is failure to listen to reason. This is going to be all battery and motor. And if it sucks, maybe I can find a badder ass motor. A brushless one actually would be the shit. This is still a brushed motor, so it's not going to be too crazy, but we're going to have some fucking mile per gallon, mile per battery. MPB. We're going to have some serious MPB here. And then I just got to figure out how large to make the wiring, or what gauge to use. I mean, they're not. I mean, my battery and my mower is 370 cranking amps. These are 420 and what is it? Cranking 480. So even though they have huge posts, I should be able to run. Lose my words here. The wiring. You know, I don't want to overdo what this thing's capable of. The speed control. And whoever did that, I'm guessing my brother. We're going to cut the hackery out of there and fix that. What the frick? Well, I mean, you really can't pick on him. I'm doing this. So, alright. Nitty gritty here. So we pie cut the bone. We'll put some braces and stuff in there in a little bit. And then as you can see, I'm putting a solid bar all the way down the tube, and I'll have it welded down here because I can still reach it through the bottom. Welded here, and this is all of about, we had to add 1.5 inches to the total length of the bike. But if anybody remembers the electric to gas razor spree thing I just built, I think the back wheel I had to add 4 or 5 inches to it. I know this is kind of not me. I'm usually saying F the electric and putting some gas motor in it. But it's decent size. It didn't look like I had to fabricate much to be able to do this. And as long as the electric stuff works, I mean, I'm cool with it. The problem is all the electric stuff that I have, or the kids have, always tends to fuck up and not be reliable or cost you tons of money in batteries. So these are free. But I'm gonna weld that, get the forks back on. It would be cool to have a roller tonight and just have to deal with wiring tomorrow. So that's what I'm gonna try to do here. All right, I got up early this morning so I could finish this so I can call it complete and get it out of my way and have something to ride. The two 480 amp batteries, 12 volts wired to 24, and the new chassis. I know it's not the prettiest, but when I put the body on it, well, when I put the body on it and I get it painted, but as you can see, we got power. We'll test it here soon. All right, what is this, our test drive? This is our test drive on our matching, slightly few years apart MX 350s. He beats me because he's lighter. Let's just go like you guys were riding on that dirt. Yeah, we'll get it out, but we can play with these for a little bit. Right here. You're going to catch me because you're just faster.